All right, guys. So we have a really fun 4-in-1 Dave Matthews Band reaction today. And I have attempted this intro probably 20 times at this point, trying to find the right words and figure out what it is I wanted to say up front. But I'm going to say it like this. You guys know me. I love music through and through. My entire channel is devoted to sharing my love of music with you all. And one of the elements about music that I appreciate so much, it often goes understated on this channel, but I'll bring it up here because it is very relevant. I love musical collaborations. I love when there's an artist who I'm already infatuated with and they decide to collaborate with other artists who I know and love. And when they join forces and go together, it feels like the Avengers. It feels like that podcast episode with two celebrities, two social media influencers that you've known for so long, finally locking arms and exchanging free-flowing ideas. And the thing is, even if you didn't know the other artist in question, it gives you an opportunity to explore something new in a bit of a safer place, I guess you can call it. So in that spirit, today we're going to be checking out 4 Dave Matthews Band performances that feature other amazing artists. Now, the first one is going to be featuring Carlos Santana on Watchtower. Then we're going to get Trey Anastasio of Fish on Lie in Our Graves. Really looking forward to that one. Then we'll hear John Mayer on number 41. Boy, oh boy, is that going to be amazing. And then lastly, Joe Lawler on Rhyme and Reason. Joe Lawler is a name I'm unfamiliar with, but apparently he's actually one of the cast and crew who works on the Dave Matthews Band productions. So there's a lot to look forward to here, and honestly, I could deep dive on all of my relationships with Carlos Santana and Trey Anastasio and John Mayer. I guess I'll keep it brief and share it with you during each of the songs, but I'm really excited to check this out today. Before we do, a huge thanks to Craig the Riffy for making this generous donation request and the selections today. Now, let's jump into it. And Carlos Santana, for me, was one of the first guitarists who I drew influence from in my own playing. I haven't heard all of Santana's work, but bro is funky, he is riff heavy, he creates narrative in his songwriting. That Latin flair. It's an exciting collaboration for sure. Dave's voice breaking. I'll never get tired of his grit.
To get excited.
The 1-2. Ba-dum.
But you and I, we've been through all that. Yes, this is not our fate.
I love how he just attacks that one chord.
The hour is getting late.
The minor 1, the major 7 and 6, back to 1. Santana's phrasing a little bit in the mix. I'm trying to hone in on it. Oh. They're just giving it to him. Take the stage, my friend. Wow. Yeah, the unison bends. I love his phrasing so much. Always chock full of melody. He brings the triplets back. I don't even know how to explain why that syncopated strumming was so cool. Oh man. Oh man. And he's been pumping the tremolo into his performance here a lot. You really can't go wrong with tremolo though. Yeah, there it is again. There it is, the syncopated strumming into the bends. Overhand, overhand. I love this song so much.
Begin to Santana!
I wonder what Bob Dylan thinks of this. I really do, because, like, as cool as it is to me and all of y'all, like, I would love to know Bob's perspective on how he views this kind of performance of his original song. God, is it good? It's so chock full of energy. I love that it has all of the Dave Matthews vocals and attackedness of his guitar that we already know and love. The intensity in the Dave Matthews Band. You hear Carter just absolutely killing it as per usual. And then they set that all aside, create a space for Carlos to then make his sound heard. He takes that space. He like introduces a lot of patterns and motifs that you can generate from the scale, but in a very Santana kind of a way. And then momentarily he'll pull it back, but then shoot it up even higher. So we kind of one step forward, two steps back initially, and then we start really climbing. And then he fully draws back, but while he's playing in the background again, he's still employing some of those motifs with the bends, those like asyncopated bends for a moment. Then he would play the triplets, then the tremolos, then adding more overhand and different techniques left, right, and center that show his chops as a guitarist, but he knows how to build on his phrasing. And that's one of the reasons why listening to Santana's music is very fun, first and foremost, but also as somebody who loves to think about like structures of songs and guitar work in those tracks, Santana's music finds a way to build on the motif endlessly. There's a whole host of songs I can think of where he does just that, where you have like this crescendo up until the midpoint of a song where he'll have his like first solo. It'll die off a little bit, but then he'll rocketeer all the way up in his second solo, and then by the end of the song, things subside and you go into the new Santana track. This felt to me like very much like a Santana structure where you have like solo one, you build into it, then you give the solo one, then you air it out for a little bit, let the rest of the music ride, then solo two kicks you even harder. That's what I experienced here in Watchtower. And again, not to like forget about how good Dave's performance in this was. There were so many good moments in his vocals and in his acoustic playing, just really attacking all of the right beats. Oof. I'm really curious to now hear Fish in this world. So let's see what Trey has up his sleeve. And this is a good song for Trey too, because this is a riff that builds on itself, right, as we listen. And Trey's really good at just taking the riff and building on it. How cool is that? Trey Anastasio, Dave Matthews, same stage. He's messing with the speakers. I wonder if he has his like full foot pedal set up. Okay. Already. Wow, and then perfectly into Boyd. And I was wondering if we were going to get Tim Reynolds on any of these tracks, but I guess not. Oh, there's a lot of space to work with here. Why are those like few notes so exhilarating? Oh my god. The sensuality is what it is. Oh my god, with the clean tone as well. The solo is just luminescent, very bright. But he's not doing too much. Is he playing with a volume knob? Oh, yeah, he is like right there. And this is why I said in my previous like Fish Dave Matthews Band reaction, like there's so many similarities between these two bands. A big part of it shows up in the dynamics and their willingness to be patient in the growth of these songs. Just exist in the moment of the music. And give it out however long you need to. Oh. Dude, I love what Trey is doing here. It's very Fish, but at the same time it fits so well into this pocket of Dave Matthews. God, it's magic. Dude, I love Trey so much. He fits this song so well. Oh my god. The high in this song has reached a new peak. I think just like as at face value, I think Trey fit in better in Lion Our Graves than Santana did in Watchtower, but for two very different reasons. Now Boyd and Trey. Oh, and of course Trey is going to play violin on the guitar. Oh, nice, Boyd. That slide down. Oh, are we fading out here? Seems like a fade out. Dude, more Fish and Dave Matthews. Please. I love the way they fit together there. Like, Trey leaned into the sensuality that Lion Our Graves has to offer, and I was thinking that they were going to take the original riff, the doon 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 boom boom, and like build on that, which they kind of did, but laterally. They built on that idea, that motif, in a separate domain that allows Trey to create new melodies on his own in this larger context, because it's not like a simple, appending of whatever Trey's doing onto the original track. It's an incorporation that makes sense. It's as if whatever the disembodied corporeal form of Lion Our Graves looks like, you open that world up, and then you make space for an artist like Trey to make his sound heard, similar to what happened with Santana. But I'll get into the reasons maybe later why I felt like that one didn't fit into Watchtower as well as Trey did in Lion Our Graves. They still both fit well, don't get me wrong, but Trey gave it a new wrinkle, gave Lion Our Graves a new wrinkle that I feel like wasn't initially present in the track. Because for Santana, I feel like he added more to the intensity that pre-existed in Watchtower. So in terms of dynamics, he was more in line with what was already there, whereas Trey added an entire new universe to this performance. And then the way that they all seamlessly came in on the one with Carter, like highlighting all of these pivotal moments, it just felt like with each ascension in Trey's playing, we got to a new place that didn't feel like we were quite done yet, but you couldn't predict how far up we were going to get either. So we just kept ascending until that massive payoff at the end. It's the reason why the entire crowd was going crazy the entire time. They witnessed magic. I felt the magic through my computer screen. That is the that is the sorcerer that is Trey. He can just do things to your brain you would never expect. Let's check out the John Mayer collab.
I am who I am because of Dave Matthews Band.
What a statement. I think I remember hearing John say that in a separate interview. One of his inspos is Dave Matthews Band. And John, he is such an eclectic player. Great phrasing, super melodic, really great solo writer. And on number 41, there's so much room for this to grow. And I've said this before, but number 41 has my favorite melody on the album. I wonder where they're going to insert John. Did you hear that bend? Oh my god, dude. I might cry. I could hear what John's already doing. Come on, man. This song is already so good. The ceiling is already like... it is already so high. I feel like with John you could go that much higher, which is insane to say. Oh, nice. Shout out Boyd, man. Boyd has been crushing it. With Trey, now with John. And you know, John in his style, he likes to use a lot of like muted strumming, tastefully inserted in moments you wouldn't expect it to. Oh, that is such a John moment. Just the blues incarnate. Who would have thunk it, huh? Number 41 needing more blues. I need to listen to more John Mayer too. That is unacceptable. I need more of his discography in my life. God, how does he have so many ideas? Look at David just like a proud father. Oh my god. Wow, he found the melody in all of it. Oh my, wow. Oh. Genius. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, wow. I feel like we just like boom, 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 leveled up. Oh. Like John breathed different life into this song. Like similarly with Trey, it just becomes a different song. I'm playing with this space. Dude, this is so seductive. Oh my god, I don't know how we're gonna rank these today. This is gonna be a hard one. Maybe you guys can predict my rankings before I do. We've still got one more song. And John is just, he's a different level of creative when it comes to the blues. Oh! Wow, what is that? Wow. I'm having such a good time, guys. I hope you are as well. Oh my god, is he gonna lay it on more? Oh, what a good bend. Dude, I love that John is so versatile. He's good in every context. I've heard him in his solo work and so many duets with famous vocalists, other guitarists, stand-in for players in cover bands, joining the Dave Matthews Band here. We heard him in the Grateful Dead's context. Oh my god, man. Oh my god, dude. Dude, these last two performances, just magic. These slowdowns are so sick.
John Mayer. Thank you so much.
I think this is like one of those situations where literally everybody wins. Like everybody wins. Dave Matthews Band fans win. John Mayer fans win. John Mayer himself wins. The Dave Matthews Band wins. The crowd wins. Literally, there's nothing wrong with this performance. This is just the epitome of musical magic. This is why we listen to music. This is why we find artists that we love, and when they collab with each other, it becomes like, I don't know, it's not necessarily better than what they do individually, but it becomes something different. It becomes an N of one experience. I think of it like it's a multiplier. You know, you love one thing, you love A, you love B. It's a product, A times B. It's not that simple, of course, but I love that we get the best parts of John in this performance, and you get all of the beautiful scaffolding in the loose but also rigid structure of the Dave Matthews Band. I know that's a bit oxymoronic to say it that way, but we know what a DMB sound is, a song sounds like. Their structure, it exists only as so far as you would like to keep it. So you hear in the beginning of the performance, they maintain the structure of the song, the melody, it's all established, and then it's ripped wide open and just run with it, because guess what? We're going to make it back to the place that we're familiar with anyways. The journey is always the joy. And I love that each of these journeys in these tracks have been led by the feature guitarist with Santana, Trey, and John so far. And like I said, what we had with Santana, it felt more in line with the original track. What we got with Trey and John, in my opinion, feels like we drew from outside of that universe more so, outside of the DMB universe more so, but it elevated the track in a way that wouldn't have been possible without, Trey and John. Trey bringing his jam, his slow building to those climactic moments, John bringing his effortless phrasing and blues influences. Like, Tim is a wonderful guitarist, and he brings something different to the table too. This is why I always find it extremely difficult to compare guitarists and their style, because like, in one way or another, it is always apples, oranges, pears, peaches, kiwis. Like, I know they're all playing the same instrument, and maybe it's like the deferential part of me that wants to like give everybody credit where I can, because I love to see all of the great elements that make each guitarist as good as they are. To me, today, John and Trey were on a different level. Let's check out the last song here. This features Joe Lawler.
We're gonna ask one of our crew to come up and play a song with us right now. We're gonna introduce Joe Lawler.
Now, I don't know if I ever really remember Rhyme and Reason. It's been a while since I've heard this track. They gave him a powerful tone, though. Oh. And an opening solo to start. I wonder what he must be feeling right now. Is being backstage versus performing? Real nice. And I love that none of the guitarists we've heard so far sound like Tim, because Tim is his own beast. Ooh, super harmonic minory. Just bend the bass of this instrument, play with the physics. I don't know if I remember this riff. This is a song that I've heard, but I'm not recalling. Dave sounds angry in this one. Why do I feel like this is about to like transition into Halloween? Come on. Oh, you hear him in the back. Joe, come on. Nice. Kind of repeating the chorus here in this section. Oh, he is giving it his all in this performance. Let's go. Dude, MVP Dave so far. The guitar and the sax in unison. Ooh. Dude, I feel like he could take it funky from here. He already kind of has. Oh. I've heard Trey do stuff like this too. Into that more funky realm. Oh. Dude, his bends have been on point. Love the tone that they gave him. Really good tone. Oh, okay. Like shredding in the lows for a bit. Jamming with Tim. Good old Tim. Oh my god, imagine harmonizing. Again, super Phrygian harmonic minery. This man is good at changing subdivisions. Wow, the patterns. Now the tapping. This is like guitar heaven, you know? Would you like learn to play when you're just getting used to soloing over just all of this space? Stacking technique after technique. Ugh. Oh my god, you forget the fact that Dave is still on this track. Because Dave went crazy for so long. But then Joe just... Oh.
Till I come up there with anymore. Needle to the vein, needle to the vein. Needle from my vein, my friend. I said,
I don't know if I have any dopamine left in my body at this point. Love this whole outro sequence for this track. Oh, it's so good. It is so good. Caught a vocal with the bubblegum on the drums.
Joe Lawler.
Yeah, Joe is quite the player himself. I mean, to actually, like, I don't know how many times he's played with the DMB before, like, in this kind of a context, but to, like, do it with all of that pressure and crush it and add so much to the track, and then to solo with Tim. They had a duet going on for a moment, then they would be in harmony, and then they would fall apart again. That is a lot of pressure, a lot of coordination, a lot of skill. I never heard of Joe Lawler before. I don't know if he has his own like side projects or things like that. If he's just a hobbyist and he's at this level, it just goes to show you how far you can take music if you really put your mind to it, practice diligently, and you yourself can play among the greats if you get closer and closer into those circles. But man, I am over the moon with this reaction today. We had 4 phenomenal performances featuring other guest guitarists with their own careers and skill sets, styles. I guess we're gonna do this in terms of my order of least preference to most preferable. I think what we had with Joe Lawler was, to me, probably the lowest on my stack. And that being said, what he did with Dave here was awesome. Like, already like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 kind of a performance. I just think a lot of what made it stick was Dave's performance in the beginning and towards the end, kind of sandwiching Joe in the middle. Still, like, Joe started off in the very beginning, if I'm actually recounting it correctly, but Joe starting it off, I think, was a really smart decision. And Dave, in my opinion, took over the track by the time he started singing. His vocal performance, so powerful. And then when Joe goes to take it, his tone is very, very clear, very definitive, very powerful. I just think they gave him a little bit too long of a time to shine, in my opinion. I think some of his ideas just made more sense in the world of like classic rock rather than more of the jam band style of DMB, which isn't intrinsically a problem. I just think it was a different style to this track, Rhyme and Reason. And I'll also caveat it by saying I don't remember the original Rhyme and Reason, as I probably should, to be able to give a take on how this version differs from what we heard before. But somehow, some way, it was a little too different in tonality, in vibe from what I'm used to with the Dave Matthews Band. That being said, there were, like, I would say like 70% of his soloing actually fit and made sense, especially a lot of that bit with Tim too. It felt like a very cohesive back and forth, but something has to go on the bottom rung, so it's going to be this one. Then I give it to Santana. Again, I think a similar point can be made. I think he really brought his unique style, a lot of cool flavors that aren't typical in the DMB universe, but also it felt a little bit out of the scope of the particular track, even though like some of the intensity matched what we were getting with Watchtower. He was either echoing a little bit too much of what was already familiar or drawing on motifs that aren't as creative as you would like to hear from Santana, because he had some fun riffs in this performance, but a lot of them too I felt like were more just like familiar licks that he's playing kind of to a scale, rather than finding a truly creative idea in the track. So that's kind of how I would rank Santana. And then for me, it is very hard between what we had with Trey and John Mayer. I just think with Trey, the build was really nice, but with John, I feel like immediately we already had the secret sauce. And this is like why I'm kind of like splitting hairs here on what really like sung to me in this moment. But I think it would have to go Joe, Santana, Trey, and John. And really it's such a toss up between like John and Trey. It's hard for me to like put into words, but I feel like I got more of an emotional charge in John's playing, especially towards like the beginning of his soloing and maybe like the latter half. He just fit in so well, and all of the punchy moments from the blues perspective came in at unexpected times, but over delivered for the emotion that we would have normally experienced in number 41. And also take into consideration number 41, I probably enjoy more as a track than I do Lie in Our Graves. I still love Lie in Our Graves, but I don't know. We already had like a 10 out of 10 song to start off with, and then a 10 out of 10 performance from John, creating something truly, truly magical. And similarly with Trey, we created something very magical, and all of the building of his solo, I loved how he took so much space between his notes. Again, in a very Fish kind of a way, he expanded that universe bit by bit and then all at once, to where you don't know when it happened, but it did, and you loved every second of it. But I think if I averaged out my preference, it would probably go to John here. But again, those are just my perspectives. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed my reaction and would like to request one yourself, whether it is more Dave Matthews Band, more Fish, more Santana, more anybody for that matter, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.